So my first deployment would have been 2013. That's about as kind of whittled down as I can do for that. 2013, Camp Eggers, which is in Kabul, Afghanistan. And effectively, the mission that we had at hand was transitioning logistics from us, you know, over the course of, at that point, 12 years, we had been managing all of Afghan National Army, even Afghan National Police logistics, so, you know, beans, bullets, etc. When we arrived at Camp Eggers, however, we were given Toyota 4Runners, and these Toyota 4Runners had been up-armored with an extra minimum couple thousand pounds of armor, and they were stick shift. And there were only a few of us that happened to know how to drive a stick shift. My first car was a stick shift. The problem with these, though, is they were loaded down with all this extra weight with stock clutches, stock internals. So if you can imagine yourself in an old beat-up hoopty sitting on a hill with an extra 3,000 pounds of weight, trying to dump the clutch to get it up a hill, and then add the context that you're in a designated combat zone. So it was always a panic attack each time we'd get stuck on a hill, stuck in traffic. Really not the situation you wanted to be in. There was really only one instance where the sky kind of lit up for us. It would have actually been, I want to say August or September. Camp Eggers we were all sitting in our shop there, and Camp Eggers it sounded like, to us, fireworks. So we come rolling out, and the sky, tracers are just flying everywhere. Those of us that are on the security detachment, we end up getting assigned to our posts. Throughout the evening, you know, I remember jumping out of my rack with a pair of shorts and a T-shirt on, throwing my plate carrier over me and my helmet, grabbing my rifle. And everybody else took the time to put all the rest of their stuff on, but I still have the picture of me in tennis shoes, shorts, and a T-shirt, you know, at my post, you know, just covering my sector of the wall. I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of my service. It's led me to where I am today, and it's given me a lot of skills, capabilities, and a support structure that really doesn't come from anywhere else.
My first deployment, seems that first deployments never go as you think they're going to go. So it was my first one. I'd been training for 4 years for a MU, Marine Expeditionary Units, patrolling the globe, ready for any kind of conflict to pop off, and that's exactly what happened on September 11th. I got on the boat in August, and from Southern California to Hawaii, doing some heavy amphib training there and some jump operations, working out, getting a tan too, and then we pushed on over to Australia, running operations with Norforce, a Border Patrol Army unit the Australians have up north, and we were doing counter-poaching and counter-smuggling. Did some amphibious stuff there too. So having the time of my life, learning about rugby sevens, learning about Australia at the range. Now, we load back up, and we're pushing to Timor. After doing a humanitarian mission in Timor, we're then moving into the Persian Gulf. And I was on the mess deck. So on the ship that I was on was called the Dubuque. It was the little deck. It was a flight deck, but it was a small flight deck. So we had jump jets, Harriers, and rotary wing. It was a platoon of recon Marines, a platoon of SEALs, and our EOD, Navy EOD contingent, and then all of the grunts and artillery. So basically, a one-stop shop on ship of whoop ass. They can go anywhere at any time and really freaking give them the good news. I was drawing tattoos for the next port for all the grunts to get their tattoos, you know, and I'm drawing and making $10 here, $10 there. And then I see the first tower is on fire. It's on the news. And then I hear some of my sailors, and a lot of my sailors, they're out of New York City. My Dominican brothers, my Puerto Rican brothers, my black brothers from here in New York. And of course, we're very close friends. You live in tight, tight quarters on ship. And I start hearing like, oh no, no. And then I start hearing wailing, like crying, behind the rack where they make the chow. And I'll never forget one of the sailors, just tears in his eyes, and other sailor holding him. And I'm looking at the TV, and I think, oh my gosh, you know, maybe it's Jerusalem. Maybe it's Tel Aviv. I still can't put it together, even though it's obvious it's the two towers. I can't put it together in my mind. I feel like I'm almost like in some kind of a vortex. And it seems like this lasts like an hour. And then the sirens are going off on the ship, and they're recalling everybody. And they're saying, recon, SEALs, you know, back to your berthing. And the sirens are going off, and it's now starting to hit me. I mean, both the towers are on fire, and then they're showing second plane footage of it hitting. And then I just left my artwork where it was, left my drawing kit where it was, and ran down the ladder. And then my commander's giving me orders. Everything happened very, very fast after that. We go to the well deck to receive our encryption for our radios and our SATCOMs, and all of our explosives, our bang, all of our rounds, and we start getting kitted up. I was tasked first to do counter-recon and counter-sniper operations in Pakistan, which was traditional, almost Vietnam-style patrolling, through their mangroves and through what was the fringe of their built-up areas. Ground Branch was there, and we were preparing to invade Afghanistan. And I believe to this day, that is the furthest invasion from ship to shore that we've ever done. And I was very humbled and honored to be on that invasion. But I remember really not being overwhelmed, but having so much work to do in my little space. As highly trained as I was still the point man of a 5-man team. Scout sniper, paratrooper, combat diver, you know, explosives, SEER trained, all of that. And it was very spooky, and I was on patrol. We were patrolling all night, setting up, getting our optics up, our guns up. And then first I heard the chickens and the roosters cawing, and then the donkeys and the animals, and then the aha, Allah, Akbar. And it was chilling. I could tell, it really hit me how far away I was from home. How far away I was from home. So we took off to Afghanistan after about 2 weeks and hit this place called Camp Rhino. It would later become a big base called Camp Rhino. We were moving fast, and now my mission is to drive under the cover of darkness 70 kilometers in this massive battle space, dig in the vehicle and patrol up the mountain, and then set up our guns and our soft lambs, our lasers, to interdict any mujahideen, any Al-Qaeda operators, anybody we see moving weapons, any vehicle with military-aged male with AKs, we're hitting them. Very, very serious stuff. I don't remember sleeping for about 3 months, but when you're young, you can do that. You don't even notice it. You turn on this other side of your brain, and you're like a coyote. You don't have to eat much. You don't have to sleep much. And it's almost like the energy, like you have a solar system of combat going on inside of yourself. Well, the biggest lesson I learned in my first deployment is you must be fully committed. Fully committed. And every fighting man in that sector, everyone operating out of Camp Rhino, we later then took Kandahar, every man there was completely committed to the mission. I would find out later, when I got home, 13 months later, that all of America had bonded together in the same way. And I would go on to fight in many more wars after that. But I'll never forget how it felt coming home, seeing an America that was completely bonded together. New York means a lot to me for that reason. And this country means the world to me. And I hope we can come back to that same place of being bonded together.